Welcome back to Newsmaker Live, and thank you very much for staying tuned to the program. Very informative discussion here on diabetes and hypertension. We have a call on the line. Good evening. Thanks for holding. Please go ahead.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Before I start, let me wish everybody on the panel good luck.
Thank you.
My name is Rudolph Sandhill at Black Bay. I work with the Ministry of Agriculture for 40 years, and all during these 40 years we've been preaching the same thing you all are now preaching. But by the grace of God, I think today the ministries, agriculture, education, health, all of them have been doing what we have been preaching for years. But the main reason why I call is to support not just herbal medicine, but because to every time that the officials, especially the Ministry of Health, about herbal medicine, they get panicky. But I would rather say food cures, because if you read about herbal medicine, the 5 greatest herbs: number 1, garlic; 2, onions; celery, parsley, chive, watercress. What are these? These are not just herbs. These are foods. If you read about herbal medicine, you have raw pumpkin, you have raw Christophane, raw green purple. What is really causing a lot of the problems today is too much cooking, like too much fridge. We need to look at, for example, if you look at there are special doctors who are looking at juices, who claim cure from just juices for all diabetes or hypertension. There are books. The information is right in there. All you have to do is seek it and get it. Not just herbs. Secret food cures like what I own and different things, talking about the use of foods to cure many diseases. What we need to do, in my opinion, is making it affordable to all through the science and technology. That those little machineries are affordable. We in St. Lucia, like some of the work I have done before, you can ask about me and Rudolph Central. We need to invent juicers, grinders, right? But our local young people, our local people can do it. Because I've seen it done overseas, where the poor people can afford. You can take mangoes, golden apple, all these, and make juices.
Yeah.
But how many people can afford those things like the prices we sell them?
Yeah. I mean, foods are better used in the natural forms. Mr. Sindel, thank you very much for that contribution.
And of course, I mean, fruits were meant to be eaten off the tree, you know, just like other plant products, you know. But we, as he made a good point, that we just insist on cooking everything, you know, killing all of the nutrients in there, you know, destroying them or altering their form so that they don't have the effect that they were intended to have on our bodies.
Yeah, and one of the things we need to stress, and we can't underscore here, is that while we say yes, we've been talking medication and we've been talking in terms of treatment and in terms of management. Tonight, what we want to stress is prevention. In the discussion on prevention, we don't talk medication. In the discussion on prevention, we don't talk drugs. We're saying before we get to the stage where we now need to rely on drugs for management and effective care, we need to get to the point where we say we're interested in preventing. We're going to eat healthier. We're going to consume our foods in as much as possible in the raw state, eat our fruits and vegetables, increase our intake of fruits and vegetables. And sometimes I'm a little baffled when we as St. Lucians, when we as Caribbean people, would say that we can't afford to eat fruits and vegetables. When you have mango season, you've got guava season, you have golden apple season, you have tangerines. There's so many fruits available, and then you have your own backyard that you can plant in. I've seen people plant tomatoes in a flower pot.
You have the industrialized countries where people plant, you know, they have flats, apartments, and they plant something.
Yes.
We have none of those limitations, and we can plant. Your final call. Good evening. Please go ahead, call with your contribution.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Very good and informative program. Good evening, Miss Atkins.
Good evening.
Yeah, I really like this program. One thing I would like to say, most of these things stem from the home. Parents should ensure that the children eat well. I taught for many years, and this is one of the things I used to advocate to the children and to parents. Instead of giving the children a packet of corn or whatever have you, give them a guava, give them a golden apple, give them a banana. And mind you, the children used to laugh. You know how many children eat vegetables? You give them the vegetables, they just put them aside. I think parents should see to it that the children eat right from the beginning. You know, and they will grow up with this, that they should eat the right stuff. Now, even with the herbs that we buy, sometimes the vegetables we buy, sometimes they're not very safe. You're supposed to grow your vegetables, and maybe if you have problems, spray and so on. Some people spray and sell right away. So that is why, again, according to Ms. Atkins, the home garden is so important. So you can monitor everything and you know what you eat, you know, and stay away from all these soft drinks, because I was a victim of soft drinks myself. And I can tell somebody that this is one of the worst things that you can drink. So at least I think they should really try to stop selling soft drinks in schools, selling soft drinks by the wayside. You know, the vendors should at least get things that are really healthy for the children. And even when you talk about that, the vendors get vexed. But as I always used to say, who vexed lose? You are concerned about the health of a nation, you know. So I just wish you would have more programs like this. I hope this won't be the last one. And thank you so much for allowing me to make a little contribution. Good night.
Thanks a lot for your contribution. And just some final words from you, Lydia, and you, Perseus, as we come to an end. I mean, the time goes by so quickly.
Yes, thank you very much for having us, Mr. Reynolds. The last caller captured so much of what it is that I could see in terms of as we close. One of the first things that we want to indicate is the discussions on diabetes, discussion on hypertension, discussion on chronic non-communicable diseases is never going to end. We will never get to the point where we say that we're saturated as a nation. We'll never get to the point where we'll say that we've learned enough and there's nothing more that we can do. When we get to that point, those diseases will no longer be an issue. The health impact, the health burden would not be as significant as it is now. And so we need to form collaborations. We need to see collaborations between ministries. We need to see collaborations between the Ministry of Health, for example, and other affiliate organizations like the St. Lucia Diabetes and Hypertension Association and the Renal Association. We need to see collaborations between those ministries, those affiliates, and media houses. Diabetes, hypertension, they're not sexy topics. We've had to struggle to get media personnel to agree to having programs like this one. And so we want to thank you so much for having us this evening. We need our efforts do not end now. They've only just started. If we are serious about the health of this country, if we are serious in terms of how we move forward, then we need to see that kind of collaboration and that kind of multi-sectoral approach in terms of addressing health. Health is not the business of just the Ministry of Health. Health is a business of every St. Lucian. Health is a business of every sector that operates within our society.
Just like Mr. Atkins said, we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity. And like I said, it doesn't stop here. Education, we can never get enough education. We need to bring that awareness to the public let people know how serious this disease is and how cost effective it is. So preventing you from getting the disease would, benefit the country and the whole, like we mentioned tonight. I also want to thank the nurses down at the Renal Association. They go like on a deathbed, they save people's lives on a daily basis. And I just want to take this time to thank them again for being there for me, family, friends, for being supportive. Yeah.
You missed something.
Yes, I did. It would be remiss of me to allow us to end this program and not tell people that we would be having yet another health fair on the 30th of November as we culminate Diabetes Awareness Month. What we expect to see differently, what we expect to see differently is people's attitudes in terms of how it is that they come to screen. That you know that you need to have not eaten within the last 4 hours if you are going to screen, or at least 2 hours if you're looking at glucose intolerance. But most importantly, you would watch what it is that you eat. And as you come up and as you walk up to the booth to learn more, that you're going to look at what it is that you have in your hand. If you have that soft drink in your hand, you need to make sure that you dump it in the nearest bin before you even take a sip of it. If you have jam, for example, and all the nice sweet things that our sweet tooth crave, that we're hoping that when we look at that health fair, we're going to see a difference in terms of people's health-seeking behavior when they come up to those booths.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you, and for you callers who contributed to our program this evening, we would thank you very much. We could not have done it without you. Very useful information shared here tonight on Newsmaker Live, as always, because we seek to educate you as we entertain you as well, and also get your perspectives on the many discussions that we have. Just before we end our program, note this week, Delia Dola puts Commissioner Vernon Francois in the DFL seat. Thrust into the public eye, he has handled the attention with grace, becoming a household name but remaining an intriguing personality. Commissioner Francois has held many press conferences, but how much do we know about some of the struggles he has faced as a family man, a member of the community, and a member of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force? What's happening inside the police force? How is he coping in the job? How can the public help him and his officers serve us better? These questions will be answered tomorrow only on the Dollar Factor Live right here on DBS from 8:30 p.m. So make sure you join Delia and Commissioner Vernon Francois tomorrow night for that program. I will be joining them because I need to know a little bit more about the Commissioner. Well, on behalf of our entire team, we want to thank you for being part of this program, and we look forward to seeing you next week at the same time for another Newsmaker Live. Thank you very much for watching.